judging how far people have to go. Start celebrating how far they have come. Hello, everybody. I'm Seema, and I welcome you all to another brand new episode on Great Principles. Joining me in conversation is my impartial educator of the day, Mr. Jitendra Khairnar. He's founder principal of Arise International School, Pimpri Chinchwad, Pune. He is also academic director at JSPM Latur. Welcome to Great Principles, sir. We are really honored to have you with us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
So, sir, speaking is an art, and especially for educators, and you have accomplished it well. Each word uttered by educators holds a key to knowledge, and we as educators, we have to be very careful what words we are using while educating or while communicating. So, tell me, what made you choose teaching as your profession, and how do you think that communicating and speaking the right words is very, very important in this profession?
Uh, 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 Talking about why I chose teaching as a field as a career. So for me, speaking was very natural when I was in a formative years. When many friends, my school friends and college friends used to compliment me that I'm a good speaker and I have a natural flair of speaking. I was a good reader from the school days only. I used to read newspaper, magazines, and apart from the textbooks, I used to be an avid reader for some other things like magazines, newspaper, whatever used to come to my way. Because I used to feel sometimes bored reading the textbooks, so I used to always search something which was not as a textbook, which I did not have to write an exam on. So that's how it came. Like my grandfather also was an avid speaker, so that came little genetically also to me. So I chose uh, teaching as a career naturally. In between, when I was graduating and all, I had some other career options in my mind. But somehow, as I tread through, other options got eliminated, and then finally I chose teaching as a field, which was very natural for me. Uh, uh, can you just repeat what was the second part of the question, ma'am?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Speaking, I
So,
think.
sir, yeah, second part of my question was the importance of communication and especially speaking for educators because every word uttered by us has an impact on our children.
Absolutely, I agree with that because see, when we teach children and when because most of our communication happens through verbally. So when we communicate anything, see, body language has a lot of importance, but still, what words we choose, we should choose them very carefully, being educators, because it impacts a lot on the young minds because they are in the formative years. Even the choice of words, the pronunciation of the word, everything matters. Let me give you a small example. When I was small, I was in school, and my teachers used to pronounce the word angel as angel. So when I became a teacher, and till that time, I was carrying that word only, that pronunciation only. But when I joined an ICSE school and that word came there in the textbook and I read it, an angel. So children started looking at me in a very different manner, and I sensed there's something wrong. So I just took one child aside after the class and I asked what happened, why, what made you amuse, and no, you were chuckling. So the child frankly told me, sir, is it an angel or angel? So then I went home and I found a dictionary where phonetic transcription was written. So see, a small thing spoken somewhere in a wrong manner, even children have that impact, and it creates a lot of impact. So even the choice of words also is very important. For example, I have a niece who was in first standard, and when her tuition teacher taught her relationships like father son, she taught her mother, and instead of daughter she taught her girl. So when I told her it is not right, so she said, no, my teacher has taught me. I said, I am an MA English person. But she said, you, whatever you are, you it doesn't matter to me. My teacher has told me mother and girl. I tried to explain her, but she was not at all convinced. So I took her on bicycle I went to the tuition teacher. I took the teacher aside and I spoke with her how this concept is wrong here. Girl means yes, female child, but doesn't mean daughter relationship with a mother. So I corrected her, the teacher, and then the teacher corrected my niece. Then only she accepted it. So these small examples tell us that how much impact children have when their educators, their teachers, their gurus speak something. They take it as a religion. They take it as a word of, they take it as a gospel. So that's why communication skills are very, very important. Whether it is related to pronunciation, whether it is related to choice of a right word. So communication skills for educators uh, holds a lot of important position because they impact the young minds which are in a formative years, and they are in a observe, they are ready to absorb whatever comes to their way, because and they are still not able to judge what is right and what is wrong. So that's why if wrong concept get formed, then it continues throughout their life unless somebody stops and corrects them. So that's why, as you mentioned, that communication skills are very, very important. They are very essential.
Certainly, sir. Speaking is something which can either mend or destroy something forever. Your words should be chosen wisely. What you're talking, how you're talking, to whom you're talking, because either you will win that heart or you will make that person, just go away from your life forever. So that is the importance of speaking, and this is the age where we speak in the form of smileys, in the form of GIFs. So that should be somewhere given a break, and we all should communicate more. We should speak more, express more ourselves, and no, doesn't matter whether we have great vocab or not. It is important that first take up gut and start speaking. Then everything can be improvised later on. So that is the power of speaking. And sir very beautifully mentioned that how important its role is for an educator. What all the children take, they are observers. They observe us, how we speak, what we speak, and that is what they're getting. So moving ahead in my next question, sir, so as I was talking about speaking, so somewhere I was also pointing about towards the emotional question, taking care of wisely choosing the words. So what do you think? How is emotional quotient implemented as a part of Indian education curriculum?
Uh, to continue with the previous, question and our dialogue. See, selection of words which see, when we did our B.Ed, we studied Bloom's taxonomy, and in Bloom's taxonomy there are three domains. So one is cognitive domain, one is affective domain, and one is psychomotor domain. So the affective domain talks about the training of heart, the emotions, and we got the theory of Howard Gardner, which talks about different intelligence. So emotional quotient is very, very important nowadays, because you can train the children in cognitive processes. You can develop their critical thinking, application, and all things. But nowadays there is a paradigm shift from the paper pen test, and the earlier the child's assessment was mostly done through by asking a lot of cognitive questions. So now there is a shift, there is a paradigm shift. Now a lot of assessment changes have come. Even in teaching styles also, we are talking about happy classrooms. We are talking about choosing the right words. Let's take an example, how we should use the words. For example, earlier the concept was used good touch and bad touch, right? So as far as the sex education was concerned, but now the terminology is being changed. For example, now they are not saying good touch and bad touch, they are saying safe touch and unsafe touch. So how it matters? Some people may think that what does it matter, this is same, the thing is same, but I don't think the same is same. The good touch and bad touch has a connotation of morality or preaching, but when we say good safe touch and unsafe touch, it brings a lot of scientific thing in that, and it ensures that there is no biasness in that. So there are a lot of choice of words where even for example, we are teaching vocabulary to the children. So earlier the teachers used to use the words difficult words, Whenever they used to dictate the notes, I mean, the dictate the words on the board, they used to write difficult words. But now the trend has come. Now the children, teachers are supposed to use the words, new words. So how it impacts? I feel it has a greater impact, because when you say difficult words, already it causes a lot of fear, because it is already saying these are difficult words. So why should we say they are difficult word? Because they see something unknown sounds to us difficult, but doesn't mean it is difficult. It is just saying something is new to us, and that's why rightly the educators, the people who are working in education field, they have found out a alternative word for the difficult words as new words. So that's why, and it impacts it impacts a lot when it comes to the development of the children, especially their emotional development. One more example I would like to give here. Let's say we were earlier using a red ink for correction of the notebooks and the paper. But now the trend has come that the blue ink has to be used wherever pencil is used by the small younger children, and even the pink color ink can be used when we talk about the higher classes. So the impact, red means something danger, something wrong, very wrong. You're done something, a crime, a guilt. So red use the color red symbolizes these things. That's why the people who are educationists, they are education psychologists, they have come up with this new thing, that can we have an alternative to the red ink. So we have come up with the pink ink and the blue ink and even sometimes the black ink. So these small things, they sound very small thing, but they have a lot of bigger impact on the psychological makeup of the children. That's how I feel the emotional quotient plays out. Earlier, the corporal punishment was considered a very normal, very I mean, say customary. But nowadays, corporal punishment completely say strict, zero tolerance is there, and rightly so, because these children have understood, they have their personality, they have their individuality, they have their emotions, and the other person cannot force on them anything. These children have understood their identities, and now if we use that old technique, Victorian style of correcting them, it will not work. And that's why the Supreme Courts, different courts, the government and educationists have come with this thing, that there should not be a corporal punishment, there should be a counseling. Let's say, okay, the child has committed an error. It's okay to commit an error, everybody commits an error, but then how to correct it, by the cane or by the counseling? There are two C's there. Either you cane the child, or you use a counseling. And I feel counseling is the best technique. Let me give you an example here, ma'am, if we permit me. When I was a small child, my father is a farmer, and we had a cow. So we used to leave it for grazing on a small hill in the morning, and it used to come in the evening. But sometimes it used to play a mischievous thing there, and it used to run here and there, and I used to run behind it. And somehow I used to catch it, and I used to get angry, and I used to beat her a bit, 1 or 2 year caning, 2, 3 canes I used to do. Next day, she used to take more time for getting caught. I used to tie her there. But then I realized that somehow, can I change my perspective? Can I change my method? Then I used to care her after getting her caught, and I used to tie her there to the pole. So I used to care her. I used to give her some food, some grass. And then later on, after 2, 3 days, I realized that she herself used to come there. So if this can work with an animal, it can work with a human being. We are all emotionally, emotional. We all have emotions, and if we can tap to those emotions right way, I don't think there is a need of caning the child. We can play out with the emotion of the child and correct the child. So emotional quotient plays a very, very vital role when it comes to education, educating the children, when it comes to making the children ready for learning. So I feel people have understood that there is a paradigm shift from IQ to EQ. EQ is more important. All the great speakers, all the great leaders in the world, they may not hire IQ, they may not have higher IQ, but they have higher EQ. That's why they are great leaders. You may not require to have all the knowledge in the world. You can hire people for you. But if you have a higher EQ, you can handle the people well, you can handle the situation well, you can understand the pulse of the people, then you have greater IQ and you are more successful. That's why EQ, sorry, a better EQ and you are more successful. That is the example. If you just dig out the history, even the present, the current Prime Minister of India, I mean, his education people question a lot. I'm not going to be politics, but he has a lot of strong emotional quotient, and that's why he understands what people want from him, and he play. I mean, he speaks their language. Even the other greater leaders of the world, like right from Abraham Lincoln, Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, they were not very highly intellectual people, I feel, but they had a lot of strong, high EQ, and that's why they are successful. That's why people, psychologists, educationists have understood that what role EQ plays when it comes to education of children.
Wonderfully explained, sir. And I really love the example of the cow, which you mentioned. You know, that how when an animal can be tamed in a positive manner, why not our own children can be tamed? Certainly, emotional intelligence, EQ, plays a very, very vital role. It helps the child to identify, express, resolve the issues better, communicate better, take care of the anxiety, overcome life challenges, and lessen the burden for himself and for the people around. And yes, going further, even the employers are looking for the people, those who have EQ higher, because then they are able to manage people, and the people are the greatest asset of any organization today. So we all need to focus on this, and schools are already doing their part. They are ensuring that the children are emotionally also developed along with intellectually. So moving ahead to the last section of the show, which is called the rapid fire round. So here I may ask you a few personal questions also, and we may get to know you as a person more better. So let us start by my very first question. You just need to answer me in one word or a statement because it's a rapid fire round.
Sure, sure, sure.
All right. Are you a movie buff?
Yes.
So which is your favorite movie?
Recently, I watched. I mean, it's not movie, but recently I watched two things. One is Jai Bhim, and one is Patal Lok, the web series. And
Yeah,
I found them wonderful. The rich
certainly.
content.
They are truly. All right. Which new activity did you picked up during lockdown?
Sorry,
Which new activity did you pick up during lockdown?
during lockdown, I feel I I'm not able to name one, but then I can say I have learned more technology in this pandemic. I
How
have
do you
become more
spend your
technical.
Sure, sir. So technology is something that you have gotten closer with and understood the advantages of it. Moving ahead to my next question, how do you spend your family time?
I spend my family time with my child, taking him out in the evening to the nearest garden, play with him. Sometimes we go shopping, and on weekends, sometimes we go outing. That's how we spend our time.
One thing about you which many people would not know.
Uh, People think me as a very, I mean, straightforward person. People think that I am not emotional. They think that me I'm very hard and tough, but I'm emotional inside. Many people don't know this.
Okay, so this is something that we got a revelation from Sir, that Sir is like a coconut, hard from outside and very soft from inside. So dear students, Sir may look you little strict, but he's very soft-hearted. So go ahead and share whatever is there in your mind. So moving ahead to the next question, what are your hobbies?
Hobbies, first is cricket. I mean, watching, playing both, reading newspaper, reading anything that comes to me, novels. I mean, any literature for that matter. But my favorite literature is stories, short stories, novels, and uh, management books. I mean, which is related to our administration thing. Sometimes you read Howard reviews. So watching movies, watching web series nowadays, last 1 year,
Yeah.
uh, reading. I mean, these are my close hobbies. Listening to music, sometimes singing, but now singing. I mean, has declined and depleted. What you say, but listening to music also is one of the hobby.
Suppose the world turns upside down and you have to start your career again. Then, in which sector would you like to start your career?
Teaching only.
Education only?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, let me. I mean, if you permit me, it's a rapid fire, but still, let me tell you, there were a lot of ups and downs in my career. My career has not been very easy. There were, I mean, it's just a roller coaster, down, up and down. So many a times it happened that I had to. I mean, there was situation where I had to think that I have to quit this career, but then I mean, I stuck with it, and many a times it happened that people suggested me to do PhD and go to college and this and that, but somebody suggested me do MBA and do this and that, but I always stuck with my guns and I said no, I am born for school education and I will stick to it. And I feel even something world goes upside down, still I would restart my career with teaching.
So, a teacher by heart and forever a teacher.
Yes.
All right. If you were supposed to change one thing in education system, first and the foremost thing, what would be that?
Education sector, uh, I think the uh, process of approving approval of the schools, I would like to change. I would not allow any person to start a school. The people who has the experience, who has the acumen to start the school, they are educators, they only should be permitted to start the school, because I feel anybody who has money, who has some funds, they are starting the school and they don't understand what are the goals and what are the objectives of education, what is the national education
Mhm.
policy. If I ask a question, how many the trustees, how many owners of the school have at least glanced through the NEP? There is a question. How many even principals have gone through the NEP? There is a question. I feel there is a lack of seriousness about approving the schools and lack of seriousness about the implementation of the new policies on the part of government. Even the private players are not very active. I feel I would like to change this if I am given opportunity to I mean, work on such a position, or I am given a power to change, I would like to do this. And I would also like to, I mean, revamp the way the teachers' trainings are happening. I mean, the B.Ed colleges and the D.Ed colleges, the syllabus is completely outdated. What's
Yeah.
happening in the college, and even they are permitting external B.Eds, even the college is regular. I mean, that is really harming the society. And these are the things which I would like to change.
You have given us a food for thought that what exactly is happening and what should happen. So today I'm sure my viewers had got are will be leaving this show with the thought that yes, this is something needs to be done, and if this is taken care, if the rules are made and applied in the manner they should be, that is when we'll see the real change happening. You rightly said teacher training is something which is very crucial, and if it is not happening in the way it is supposed to be, then entire the suffering is on the students always. And yes, if you're opening a school, then ensure that you are going to shape lives so many. So be that should be the focus. And if you are not an expert in that field, then you can actually, you're playing with so many lives. So that should be given a very very deep thought, I suppose. And in this segment, though we keep it very fun fact, but today we got this some serious food for thought here. So sir, coming up just to the last question in this segment, if you were to call three people at your home for dinner, who would be those three people and in what preference? One, two, three.
Can you repeat the question?
If you were to call three people at your place for dinner, whom would you call and what would be your preference? One, number one, I'll call this person. Number two, number three.
Okay. Uh, I mean, this is a difficult question because I have never thought about it, but I can just randomly say I would like to call Mr. Nitin Gadkari because I mean I admire him for his administrative skills and the way he takes the work forward, and the honesty and the integrity with which he is doing his work. Very few politicians I find inspire me, but he is the one, and he belongs to our state. So that is one reason. And the way, in the his personality and the way he carries himself. So I would like to have a dinner with him. One person. Another person. Actually, I would like to. Have a dinner with. What was that person's name? Funsuk Wangdu from Kashmir, the
Okay.
education. I would like to have a dinner with him and have a chat with him how he has revolutionized education and even the water saving in Kashmir. So that person is the second person, and third person would be my wife.
Third, all right. I'm sure she must not be happy listening this. Ki I'm third. Anyway, so it was lovely hearing you, and we got to know some really fun facts. And yes, talking about Mr. Nitin Gadkari, he is truly a man who can leave a mark on anyone. The person who is working with dignity, the person who has knowledge of everything, he uses numbers, facts, figures, everything.
Yeah,
He reads well, and he can just relate everything and implement in the manner. Truly a man, the one who deserves a salute. I completely agree with you, sir. And I'm sure today, after listening to this, you will have to take your wife for the dinner first. So be
sure,
prepared
sure,
for that.
sure.
All
That is
right. So it was
huge.
very, yeah. So it was very fun and interesting conversation. We got to know a lot of things: the importance of speaking, the importance of communication, the importance of emotional question, and some fun facts about Sir, and also some food for thought Sir has given us about how the schools should be. Who should have the rights and authority to open up a school. So thank you so much for your time, Sir. And today I'm sure that if learning should happen in the right manner, then children truly will gain the wisdom that they should be. And from the educators like you, they would not only be self-centered, they would be thinking for the nation's growth, and together they will work as a team. So thank you so much for your time with us, sir. It was lovely having you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for giving this platform to open up myself and put forward some thoughts. Thank you very much. Thank you.